Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Full Court Press. I'm Chris Guyette, here with Yvonne Juno.
What's the date?
October 14th, 2014. This episode of Full Court Press. Let's start with a bang. The reigning MVP, Kevin Durant, fractures his right foot. Expected to be out 12 weeks. Yes, that Kevin Durant. I've gotten a reaction from you, Yvonne. Your thoughts?
When did this happen?
2 days ago. And I wanna preface this. I
God.
woke up Sunday morning and I told Maddie, I was like, babe, something bad's gonna happen today. What do you mean? She said, what do you mean? I said, in the sports world, something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna get injured. The Broncos are gonna lose to the Jets. Something's gonna happen. Sure enough, Kevin Durant fractures his right foot, expected to be out 12 weeks. Your thoughts? Just general thoughts. We'll get to the questions
Where
in just a
do
second.
I even begin? What happened?
During practice. Came down wrong on his foot.
And it's fractured.
It is fractured. It is a Jones fracture. Do you know what a Jones fracture is?
No, I do not.
It's a deep tissue fracture, which means it doesn't need surgery.
It's not a bone.
It doesn't need surgery, but it does require, of course, any fracture requires some form of physical therapy. So, 8 to 12 weeks. 4 weeks of healing, 8 weeks of therapy is what they're saying. Out 3 months. Any other general thoughts here? Because we'll get to the four questions in just a second. Just your general thoughts on this.
I think it's very, very, very detrimental and unfortunate
Good words.
for Oklahoma City.
Good words. We'll talk about that. In fact,
Very.
let's go to it. But before
Very.
we move on,
Oh my
before we move on,
gosh.
Kevin, get well soon. Just throwing that out there. What does Oklahoma City lose by losing Durant?
Oh my gosh. They lose their whole court setup. Who's going to take his place?
Jeremy Lamb's going to have to step in.
That's like comparing Santa Claus to an elf.
Jeremy Lamb ain't nothing to sneeze at, but he's not Kevin Durant.
Oh, of course not. He's not Kevin
Okay,
Durant.
so we know what they lose. They lose just 3 letters. The MVP. They lose him. Okay?
Okay, I have a question for you. How much do you think this is going to set? Because if he comes back after 12 weeks, that's not the whole basketball season.
But it's a big chunk.
I know it's a big chunk, but they could recoup their loss. How bad do you think this is going to hurt them to the point that they can't
Look at the next
recover?
question.
Oh,
Are their championships hopes crushed?
I think so.
Why? Elaborate. You
Okay.
gotta have a reason for saying yes. That's a big question.
Number one, because it's Kevin Durant. Number two, because they don't have someone with equal ability and talent to take his place. Lamb's going to do the best he can, but a Kevin Durant, he's not. Okay? And number three, the further behind you get behind that 8 ball, the harder it is to come back from something like this. If they had, let's flip-flop it. If they had started the season and they were up at the top, okay, and this happened like mid-season, they already would have had all those wins under their belt. But to start off behind the 8 ball like this, I think it's going to be devastating.
It's going to be devastating. I think their championship hopes are crushed. I agree. For a different reason.
Okay?
They're in the West.
Of course.
They're in the West. If Oklahoma City was in the East, this would probably be a little bit different. But with all the strong teams in the
It
West,
would be very different.
with all the strong teams in the West, and all the contenders that you have in the West, ouch.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? Here's an interesting question.
They
Where
have to reconfigure their whole court strategy.
does the pressure lie now for Oklahoma City?
On the coach.
Scott Brooks?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's got, what did I just say? He's got to reconfigure how everything's going to happen on the court. Who is going to be the dominating factor? They're going to have to change the way they play. They're going to have to rely on, it's going to change everything.
Except one thing. And I put a certain amount of pressure on Scott Brooks, but I'm going to put even more pressure on a certain guy named Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A lot of stuff is going to change. You're absolutely right. I'm not arguing it. But the one thing that's not going to change is Russell Westbrook.
But it could change for the worse.
It could, but I don't see that. Because now, Westbrook now has what he wants. He wants the freedom.
He wants to dominate
Now-
and make all the points.
Now,
Honey, if
he
was
can.
If he was a ball hog before, look out now.
Now he can.
Mm.
And you know what? We can't criticize him for it.
No, not now.
Because without
No,
that
not
second
now,
weapon,
because if he doesn't do it, nobody will.
thank you.
Yeah.
There is a tremendous amount of pressure on Russell Westbrook. And I'm going to say
To
this.
put the points on the board.
And I'm going to say this. Not only that, I'll go beyond that. Leadership. Kevin Durant,
I do not see Russell Westbrook as a leader.
vocally. Kevin Durant will not get in your face. You and I both know this.
Nope.
He will not get in your face and say,
Nope.
hey man, you got to do this. Westbrook will. Because that is his attitude.
I understand that, but he's not diplomatic about it. He may piss people off by doing it.
But if it works,
If it works. That's the key.
and I'm going to say something here. If Russell Westbrook steps up and this team has a winning record, by the time Durant comes back, I will gain a new respect for Westbrook. Because that will show me that,
I agree.
hell,
I'll go out there on that limb
this
with you.
team, of course they're not the same without Durant, but damn, they can win without Kevin Durant.
I'll go out on that limb with you. Do I think it's going to happen? No. No.
That's debatable. Because I think that Oklahoma City has some weapons. I do. Westbrook, Ibaka is back. Don't forget about the load Ibaka carries. Okay, remember they signed Anthony Morrow. We know how good Morrow is. Okay? I think they have some weapons that they can work with. I think they can pull out a winning record. Not something like 20-5 like they normally would be. Okay?
Baby,
But I think they can be above 500.
Honey, I compare this to the Lakers losing Kobe.
I don't.
I do.
I don't. Because Kobe brings a different dimension than Durant does. Kobe brings that leadership. Kevin Durant does not have that. That is the one thing.
Vocally, you're right.
No, vocally and as far as taking a game over. I have noticed. Because what does Durant rely on? His jump shot. Time and time and time again. Russell
Wow.
Westbrook will go in your face. He will drive to the cup. Durant doesn't drive.
Honey, he is going to be all over that ball.
And it's going to be fun to watch, I think. Now,
It could come back to bite him, though.
in your opinion,
It could come back to bite him.
we'll see. That's debatable. We'll see. Where do the Thunder go from here? What do they do? What does their mentality need to be? Well, to start the season, where do they go from here? Because guess what, people? The season starts in 2 weeks. From today.
I know.
2 weeks. Okay?
I know.
Where do the Thunder go from here?
Well, Scott's going to have to rely on Westbrook. He's going to have to. I just hope that Russell does it in the right way. I hope he does not decide that, oh, this is high school basketball. I can just run up and down the court all day long, make all the shots I want, and forget about everybody else. Just zone everybody else out and just want to be the ball hog and run up and down the court.
I agree, but I think he's going to play better than that. Because
I hope so.
Okay, yes, this guy gets criticized for taking a lot of shots that maybe he shouldn't take. Okay, I'll give you that. But what I'm not willing to give is that he is a downright selfish ball hog. Because 8.5.
Well, now wait a minute. That's where Scott's going to have to come in.
Okay, but see, I've heard for years that Westbrook is this unselfish player that 8.5 assists disprove that. 8.5 assists per game to go with 24, 25, 26 points a game.
But
it
now that
disproves
Kevin's
that.
not in there for him to pass it off to.
But there are other people there.
I understand that. But Scott's going to have to put his foot down. If Russell decides that he's going to play ball all by himself, that's when Scott Brooks is going to have to put his foot down.
I agree, but I'm going to also put another side to that and say Scott Brooks needs to realize that, okay, at this certain point in time in the game, Westbrook needs to take over. Because he is that kind of player.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
If
You're
it's
down.
necessary.
You're down 1 with 8 seconds left. You do not give that ball to Jeremy Lamb.
Well, that's
Okay.
like when Papa used to tell you, Bud, take over.
Come on. That is what Westbrook's out there for.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to do a fantastic job.
But he's going to alienate the rest of his teammates if he starts the game like that.
We'll see. We'll see.
You follow what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
Remember the Danny Ferry situation that we talked about last time?
I can't believe Kevin Durant fractured his foot. I didn't hear about that.
The
Go
Danny
ahead.
Ferry situation with the Atlanta Hawks owner, the GM, Danny Ferry, with he's got a little African in him.
Yeah.
Okay. The Atlanta mayor wants a new GM by December 31st. Your thoughts?
Really? Did they ever determine or did they ever figure out?
It came from Cleveland's office. Okay? Here's what we know. It came from the office of the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that Luol Deng used to play for. Okay? Danny Ferry quoted this publicly. That's what we know. That's what we know. Okay?
Has anybody bothered to ask the guy what he meant by that?
I don't know. I just told you what we know. But regardless, the Atlanta mayor wants a new general manager by December 31st.
Oh, and I understand why. I can completely understand why. Because he does not want a repeat of what happened last season with,
Donald Sterling.
yes.
Good point.
He does not want that dark cloud hanging over him or following him around. He doesn't want to be painted with the same brush.
Good point.
Okay, so I would imagine, putting myself in his place, I would imagine he's thinking to myself, I'm going to nip this in the bud and get rid of this guy right now.
Right.
Before it goes any further, because I don't want to be painted with that same brush. And I don't want it to look like I like Sterling. I don't want to be looked at and put in that same category.
Good point. I agree 150% with everything she just said. And,
But on the other hand, I think we're crucifying somebody before we know for sure.
I'm going to say...
Was it an unnecessary statement? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Look.
But you can't compare.
Hang on. Wait a minute. There is a line. There is a limit. And as the general manager, Danny Ferry should have known better than to say this. Okay. He's not a racist. Okay? If he was quoting something that was written, that does not mean he's a racist. Donald Sterling is a racist.
Oh,
all right?
That was blatantly
Okay?
obvious.
Danny Ferry's not a racist. Danny Ferry should not be crucified for this. Danny Ferry's a hell of an owner. A hell of a general manager. And I think he should be open to another job. I do. But I totally understand why the Atlanta mayor wants this. I totally get it.
If they let him go, nobody's going to touch him with a 10-foot pole.
I don't know. We'll see. Next topic. The Cavaliers may rest LeBron James in season.
What?
You heard me. Your thoughts?
What does that mean?
They may rest him during the season.
I don't know what that means.
They might not play him for certain games. Your thoughts?
Okay, let me make sure I get all the dust settled here so I know what I'm talking about and I don't sound like an idiot. So what you're trying to tell me is if they're going up against Team XYZ and they know for a fact that this is an easy win, they're going to let LeBron sit out and they're going to play with the rest of the team to let him rest because they already know that this is a surefire win.
I'm not trying to tell you that. I am telling you that.
Okay, that's what that means, correct?
Your thoughts?
Well, I can play devil's advocate here. I think it's a smart move from the point of the team. Wait. I think it's a smart move from the point of the coach not wanting LeBron to maybe get hurt.
See?
Wait
Okay,
a minute. Let me finish. But I think it's also a very unfair thing. It's smart strategically, but it's totally unfair. Because then everybody should get a chance to rest. I think it's wrong, morally. But it's a strategic move to keep him from possibly getting hurt. Does he deserve it, which I see as your next question? No. Everybody should have to play.
All right.
What makes him so special
Wait a
that he
minute.
gets to sit out?
Wait a minute. Okay. Let the floor be mine for just a second.
Sure. Do you see where I'm going with that, though?
Sure, but I completely disagree.
Okay.
This is wrong all the way around. And the coaching thing, I see what you're trying to say strategically with the coach. You got to keep in mind, this coach ain't never coached an NBA game in his life. This is his first season. Okay? David Blatt.
That's right.
He ain't never coached an NBA game in his life.
Okay.
So this guy's got no idea what he's talking about. Okay? Sorry, Cavs fans. It's the truth. He's from Europe. He doesn't know how the NBA works. Okay? Secondly, to go on to LeBron James. We have called many basketball players the best player in the world. Okay? It started with Pistol Pete Maravich. For a time, Pete Maravich was the best basketball player in the world. Am I wrong?
Correct. There's been a lot of them.
Wait.
Jerry West.
Wait. Wilt Chamberlain.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Julius Erving.
Right.
Kareem.
Right.
Magic. Michael.
Uh-huh.
Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
And most recently, my man, Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Who, in my opinion, is still the best basketball player in the world.
Okay.
Okay? You ever seen Kobe Bryant rest? Because it should have been an easy win?
I don't think Kobe would allow that to happen.
Because, okay, let me tell you something right now. There is no such thing as an easy win in basketball. There's no such thing. Because going into the game, you got a 50-50 shot of winning that game.
On any
All right?
given day, as Papa said,
All right?
if it's not your day,
Come
it's
on.
not your day.
Come on. Let's be honest. How many of you thought San Antonio, the only team that would take them to 7 games in the playoffs last year, was gonna be Dallas, the 8th seed? Please comment on this video if you thought that. Okay? Give me a break. Any given day, 50-50 shot. There's no such thing as an easy win in basketball. All right? Give me a break. I've never seen Kobe take a day off because this way. If you are truly, as I have been hearing for the past 5-7 years, LeBron James is the best basketball player in the world. The best basketball player in the world is the last person that should be sitting out because it's an easy win.
Right.
Give me a break.
I
If
agree.
Kobe couldn't do it, if AI couldn't do it, if the great
I
Michael
agree.
Jordan or Larry Bird, that's a name I forgot to mention,
Well, Michael Jordan played with 103 temperature.
if they couldn't do it, you can't do
Mm-hmm.
it. And David Blatt just needs to stop talking. Okay? He needs to stop talking and start coaching. All right? That's how this is going to work. That's my take on that.
Well, like I said, I don't think it should be happening. I disagree with it completely because nobody deserves.
Give me a break.
But, like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate.
To me, there's no devil's
Strategically-
advocate to play here. Because it's a first-year head coach.
Well,
This guy's never coached in the NBA a day in his life.
did you ever think maybe he's scared? There may be a fear factor there.
I don't know. It's crap all around to me. Next topic. Nick Young.
Wait, I want to elaborate one more question on
Oh.
the same topic.
Sure.
How do you think the Cleveland Cavalier fans are going to be feeling about that?
There's gonna be a mixed reaction.
Wait, they loved him. He left. They hated him. They burned his jersey. They found out he's coming back. All of a sudden, there's a 10-story banner of him. And now they find out he's going to sit out on what he thinks is the easy games.
They need
The
to
poor
realize,
fans are not going to know what to think.
They need to realize that it's their fault. Who in the hell do you think is overhyping this man?
Yeah.
It runs over into coaching. Fans hype him up. Then the media hypes him up.
Oh, the media.
Then the coach hype. But it all starts with the fans. It all starts with the fans.
Which is my point. If they're so
It's their fault.
if they're so looking forward to him coming back to watch him play, and then he doesn't play, you
It's
think
their
that's
fault.
you think that's going to sit well with them?
They don't realize that it's their fault.
I think they may turn on him.
Next topic. The Lakers' Nick Young out 8 weeks with a thumb injury.
Okay.
So, what do the Lakers do? Where do they go?
I don't think it's going to have that much of a big impact. I think they have enough good players to fill in and to make up for the difference of him not being in there. With Kobe back and with the bench they have, and I think they'll be fine.
Okay, I
He's going to be missed,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't
Great
think it's
player.
going to be detrimental like Kevin not being for OKC.
No comparison. Carmelo Anthony on the Knicks roster. We have what we have. Quote. Your thoughts?
I don't know what he meant. Oh, what do you think he meant by this? That they're going to do the best that they can with what they've got.
That's it.
What else could he have meant by that? We have what we have. We're going to do our best with the team that we've got. I don't think he was dogging the team.
I think it was a bad way to say it, though. I know that's what he meant. Okay?
Yeah, he should have chosen his words better.
We have what we have. How does that come off?
Well,
Immediate reaction?
I can tell you exactly how it came off to me when I read it. Oh, well, we'll do the best that we can with what we've got. It's not the greatest, but, you know.
And that's okay. To come to that reality that you are in the middle,
But you don't say that
that
to the
you are
media.
in the middle of a rebuilding process. That is fine.
But you keep that to yourself.
Thank you.
You don't say that to the
That's a-
media.
That's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
As Skip Bayless is so fond of saying,
Mhm.
that's a bad look.
Yeah. Yeah. He shouldn't have shared that with the media.
What do you expect from the Knicks this year?
I think they're going to do very well. I think they're going to do well. Don't you?
I hope they do well, but I think they are going to miss Tyson Chandler.
Oh, absolutely.
I think now that big trade with Dallas during the offseason, I think it helped him more than it hurt him, but not by much. Because Tyson Chandler, that's a big void to fill, figuratively and
Physically.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big void to fill. And you're going to fill that with a washed-up Samuel Dallenberg or an iffy Amari Stoudemire. I think they got to sign somebody. I think they got to find somebody. Granted, they do have Jason Smith from the Pelicans, so he could fill in there a little bit. Not as defensive as one may hope, especially in the East, but it's better than nothing.
But he's not going to have...
Playoff spot is what I'm looking at here.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind about Tyson, not only the fact that he's all over the floor, but rebounding ability. I mean...
Well, and I'll go a step, I agree, and I'll even go a step further.
Oh my gosh.
I'll go a step further. Attitude.
Yeah.
And not a cocky attitude. A straightforward, level-headed attitude. Keep your eyes on the goal.
Yeah.
That's how Tyson Chandler was.
Yeah.
Next topic. Paul Pierce on the Brooklyn Nets. They didn't make me an offer. Your thoughts? And why wouldn't the Nets make him an offer?
I have no idea.
And your thoughts on the quote?
Well, there's nothing to say about the quote. He just stated a fact.
There is a lot to say about this quote that a lot of people are overlooking. People are looking at this quote like it's not a big deal. This is a big deal, coming from the source. But I'll explain.
Okay. I read this quote as to say, if they had made him an offer, he would have gone. And he doesn't understand why they didn't make him an offer.
I agree.
And he is confused by it and a little disappointed. And he's saying, oh, but wait a minute. How does that make the team feel where he's staying, though? Like he's settling? That's offensive to them. And they didn't make him an offer. It's a statement. And I guess he's surprised and a little put out by it or disappointed by it. And as to why they didn't, the only thing I can think of is because of his age. It's the only reason I can think of. Who wouldn't want Paul Pierce on their team? Is there something there I'm missing?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
But you stated it. Okay, there are different levels of teams, okay? There are championship contenders, there are playoff contenders, and there are rebuilders, okay? 3 different levels in the NBA, as far as I'm concerned. Where would you consider the Brooklyn Nets to be right now? Which one of those 3 areas?
Probably in the middle.
The playoff contenders?
Yeah.
I see them in a rebuilding stage. They're getting Brook Lopez back. Remember, he was gone all season last year.
Yeah.
They made a ton of moves in the off season. Okay, I would consider them more in the at the top of the rebuilding.
Okay.
Okay.
Borderline that and yeah. Okay.
So if you're and they just got rid of their coach Jason Kidd, so they're obviously
I forgot.
Okay. Okay. So
I forgot about that.
they've got a new head coach in Lionel Hollins, who I think is going to do a fantastic job in Brooklyn.
Where did Jason go again?
Milwaukee.
Yes.
Which he's going to do a fantastic job there,
Okay.
I hope. They're at the top of that rebuilding stage, on the verge of playoff contender because they've got the talent. You're already paying millions of dollars to keep a 39-year-old Kevin Garnett on your team, who averaged 7 points a game last year, which is inexcusable because why?
He should so retire.
He started 73 out of 82 games last year.
He should so retire.
Okay? So if you're already paying that, Are you going to pay for a now 38-year-old Paul Pierce to stay on your team? If
His
you are,
age is
if
the factor.
you are in a rebuilding era, I'm not. And I love Paul Pierce. I have a deep, passionate love for Paul Pierce because he is a survivor.
They need to get rid of Kevin Garnett, and they should have gotten
He
Paul
is
Pierce.
a survivor. Literally. Okay? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, look up the 2001 stabbing incident, and you'll have a total new respect for Paul Pierce. I did, and she did.
I think KG
okay?
should be gone, and they should have gotten Paul Pierce.
I don't think so. I think you got to start with youth. If you are in a rebuilding process, okay, I'm not talking about rookies, younger than 38. You got Darren Williams at 31 running the point, which is completely fine. You signed Jarrett Jack in the offseason. That's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe Johnson is fantastic.
Yes.
Brooke Lopez is still young.
Yes.
Start young. Start young. You've got time. You've got potential. And Paul Pierce, they're not required to make you an offer. Okay?
No.
See, that came off to me as, oh, they
Arrogant.
didn't. Thank you.
Arrogant.
They're not required to make you an offer. You're 38.
Okay.
They're rebuilding their team.
But it depends. Wait a minute. But this statement could have just been the answer to a question
Could have.
that some reporter asked.
Could
them.
have. But
Why
I'm
did-
giving you my take.
Okay. If the reporter interviewing him.
Why
said
didn't you
because
resign with the
me-
Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, because the media twists and turns things the way they want. Okay? If a media person just said to him, hey man, why didn't you re-sign with the Nets? He could have said, because they didn't make me an offer.
And that's all well
That's
and good.
answering a question.
That's all well and good. And I'm sure that's the way it came out, knowing Paul Pierce. I'm just stating the dimensional aspect of this. I'm trying to get a roundabout look at this.
Yeah, because you could make a lot out of this statement.
Moving on to the next topic. This is one you'll like. Derrick Rose looks aggressive in the preseason. Your thoughts? And is this a sign of things to come?
Oh, okay. Good.
I know how much you love talking about Derrick Rose.
Oh, absolutely. He's such a favorite of mine. Mr. GQ. Sorry about that, anybody who's a Rose fan. I think it's wonderful that he looks aggressive. And I know that it's just the preseason. And let's all say a novena and pray that he doesn't stub his toe. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I agree. I agree.
Let's be perfectly
I
honest
agree,
here.
and I'm not
he
gonna-
will use any excuse to
I
yell,
agree.
I have an injury.
I agree, and I'm not arguing that. However, I will say that if this is a sign of things to come,
then it's going to be awesome.
because I watched the highlights of it, and let me tell you something.
I know, I saw him the other night.
Okay, if this is a sign of things to come,
Mhm.
the Bulls are a championship contender.
I agree.
I hope
But we got a long way to go
we got
before that happens.
82 games.
We got a long way to go. I want to ask you a question.
Absolutely, please, please. I love this.
He gets hurt again? They going to pay him for another season of sitting out? Are they really going to carry him for a third season? To do nothing?
No, I don't think so.
Don't you think there should be a limit as to how long they carry somebody at that salary level?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
We'll see.
The Cavaliers played the Heat, you know, the connection there, in the exhibition.
Yes.
LeBron and David Blatt downplay the exhibition versus the Heat. The quote was, it's the preseason.
Who said that?
LeBron and David Blatt. They both basically said
They
the same
both
thing.
said that?
It's the preseason.
They're both full of it.
Now, the Cavaliers did end up winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a side note.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on this?
I think they're both full of it. I don't think either one of them really meant it when they said, oh, this is just the preseason. I think that was to cover up what they truly felt. Because there's rivalry there. And there's going to be. And they got how many games to play against each other?
It's going to be 2. It's going to be 2. They're not in the same division. Unless they meet in the playoffs.
And they will.
They might.
They will.
They might. And I hope Miami kicks Cleveland's butt.
And they will.
I hope they do.
Bud, you really don't think that they're going to meet?
I hope they do.
So they're going to end up playing 6 games?
It depends on the seeding.
Sure.
That's what depends on if they meet or not.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
could. I hope they do, and
Yeah.
I hope Miami wins.
I think that was just talk. I think that was just something that they didn't want to get into. And actually, I think that's the best response they could have given. Because if they would have said, whoa, wait a minute, follow me on this. If they wouldn't have downplayed it the way they did, they would have had to give a truthful statement about how they really felt, which could have made them look either arrogant or it could have made them look like they already felt defeated. Think about it. How would you feel if LeBron had gotten up there and said, oh man, I knew we were going to win because, now that I'm back on the team. I mean, how would that have looked?
This is not... Okay. You know what this quote this is to me? A sign that the Cleveland LeBron is back. That arrogant little prick. Sorry, okay, to LeBron fans out there. And I am a LeBron fan. I like LeBron. But the Cleveland LeBron is back, okay? That arrogance is coming out. No game should ever be downplayed like this. You know why? Because you could get hurt and end your
Every
career
game counts.
in this game.
Every game
I don't give a
counts.
damn if it is the preseason.
I agree.
Especially against Miami.
I agree.
In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. A game that you won in double overtime
Oh, I didn't realize it had gone to...
by 2 points because of a guy named Dwayne Wade hitting 2 buzzer-beating shots,
Wow.
who totally outplayed, outschooled, and outclassed LeBron James in this game and held LeBron James to 4 of 11 from the
Does
field.
not surprise me in the least.
And you're going to downplay this?
Does not...
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Does not surprise... I'm telling you, they said that because they didn't want to say how they really
You
felt.
cannot downplay a 4 of 11 performance. You can't downplay that.
I didn't see the game. You saw the game?
You can't downplay that.
You saw the game?
Yes, I did.
4 of 11.
4 of 11.
Wow.
You cannot downplay that.
How many points did he end up scoring?
13.
And Dwayne?
26.
Only double.
Only Dwayne Wade. He's back. He's back.
So overlooked and underrated.
And he's so fantastic. Chris man,
Hold
just
on.
getting to the good stuff.
Hold on.
Getting to the good stuff now.
Didn't know you had turned it off.
Chris Bosh on LeBron James. If they're not in this locker room, I don't have much time for them. Your thoughts?
Okay, he said this in response to what? Somebody asked him a question?
How is your relationship with LeBron James since splitting up? Your thoughts on this?
Well, he answered that question in the only way that he could have. I agree with this. I agree with this 100%. What? He's not part of it. Wait a minute. What? The media's trying to stir up crap.
As they are so known for doing.
I think he answered this in a very professional manner, which surprises me a little bit. Because, let's be perfectly honest, he and LeBron are not on the same team anymore. That's his way of saying, I'm going to support the team that I'm on. I don't have anything to say about LeBron. And why are you trying to stir the pot and get me in trouble?
Say that again. The first thing you said, I'm going to what this team?
I'm going to support
Time
the
out.
team that I'm on.
Time out. I agree with you 150%.
Well, of
But wait,
course.
I'm going to put a spin on what you said. Because there's a little factor here that everybody seems to keep forgetting, and I don't see how you can forget it. Chris Bosh was paid how much money to come back?
Yeah.
$118 million.
Much
So
too much
he is
money.
not going to support this team. He's gonna carry this team.
He better. He should.
I don't like this. Quote, I don't like it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I have been waiting for this side of Chris Bosh to come out since he arrived in
all right,
Miami.
Let's be perfectly honest here. If he would have told whoever this yo-yo is that asked him about LeBron James, if he would have said anything detrimental or derogatory about LeBron, they would have had a field day with this. He had no choice but to answer it this way unless he wanted to ruin his career.
I love it.
I mean, let's be perfectly honest here. Who is the yo-yo that asked him about
I
LeBron?
absolutely love this quote. I love it. And I have gained a new respect for Chris Bosh just from this quote.
Me too.
Because it shows me more than anything, he is locked in.
Well, the thing about it is, you're going to pay him that much money. He shouldn't have anything else on his mind except the team that he's playing for.
Let him prove that he's worth it. This quote is a fantastic start.
This is ridiculous.
Pacers re-sign head coach Frank Vogel to a multi-year extension. Deserved?
How many years is multi-year?
4 years. Deserved? Why or why not? And what do you expect from the Pacers this year?
I think the Pacers are going to do exactly what the Pacers always do. I don't see any...
Paul George?
Well, with Paul George coming back, yeah.
No, out.
Oh, that's right.
Paul George.
That's right. That's right. No, they're not going to do as well. Do I think the coach deserves to come back? Yeah. Yeah. I do.
I'm going to put a spin on this.
Yeah, I do. Do I think the Pacers are going to do as well without Paul George? No.
There's no question.
There's no question.
And they lost Lance Stevenson.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to put a little spin on this because remember in the playoffs this past year, how everybody was talking about Indiana,
Yeah.
and they started falling off in the playoffs. Roy Hibbert had his...
Are you kidding me? 3 of the guys sitting around the table said before the season started, I'll look for Indiana to take it all
And they were great. And then they hit the playoffs
but
and they were
you
crap.
can't make that kind of prediction before the season even starts.
What was the one thing...
You can say what you would like to have happen.
Wait. What was the one thing that people kept bringing up? Frank Vogel's job. After this, I'm not sure if his job's going to be secure. Yada, 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 yada. And then what happens in FIBA with Paul George happens. Lance Stevenson leaves for Charlotte. And then they sign Frank Vogel to a 4-year deal. Pacers fans all over the world are questioning, why?
They're contradicting themselves.
Why? I'll tell you why.
They're contradicting themselves.
Because
with what
Frank
they said.
Vogel can't control Paul George getting hurt. Frank Vogel can't control Lance Stevenson leaving for
I
Charlotte.
got it. I got to take my medicine. Go
He
ahead.
can't control that. So
No.
I like this move by Indiana. They realize Larry Bird, remember,
Yeah.
he's the GM, he's the president,
Yeah.
okay? He realized, hey, look, Frank Vogel can't control this, but he's a fantastic coach.
Oh
So I'm
my
gonna
God,
resign.
nobody can control that. Do you really think that if the coach could have prevented Kobe from getting hurt, he wouldn't have done
I love it. I love this. I love
Come
this for Frank
on.
Vogel. During a preseason game between Washington and Chicago, Paul Pierce and Joakim Noah fight. 4 suspensions and 2 fines result. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on this.
Uh-oh, here comes her inner Skip Bayless. Get ready.
I'm embarrassed.
Oh, it's exactly what Skip
I'm
said.
ashamed of them, and I'm embarrassed for them. And I think this is the ultimate level of unprofessionalism. And they should know better. These are not rookies.
Wait, elaborate on that last statement. This is the ultimate show of unprofessionalism.
Yeah.
Why? Elaborate on that.
Because they should know better. You walk away. You got something ugly to say, that's one thing. But to put your hands on somebody, even if it's just to put your finger on their forehead, that he knew what he was doing when he did it.
By he, you mean Paul Pierce?
Yes.
Okay.
Of all people who should know better.
Are you done?
I think it's embarrassing.
Okay. You done?
I'm embarrassed for them, and I'm embarrassed. There is nothing to say.
Oh, yes, there is.
It's embarrassing.
Done?
And I think this speaks volumes to the young kids out there who idolize these ball players and think that it's okay to act like this on the court. Okay? And I don't know how much the fines were.
$25K apiece.
And suspended from 4 games each.
No. 4 suspensions. 4 other players were suspended for leaving the bench and getting involved. Pierce and Noah were not suspended. Pierce and Noah got fines. You're not allowed to clear the bench. You're not allowed to
Why
clear the
was
bench.
Pierce and Noah not suspended from a certain amount of games? Why were they only fined? Wait a minute. I thought they got fined and suspended. Then all they did was get fined?
$25,000 apiece.
Well, I don't think it was severe enough.
You done?
I don't think. Who else got off the bench and got suspended?
God, I don't remember their names. 2 players from each team. It's only 1 game. Yvonne Judo, you're going to sit there and tell me...
I know I'm emotional.
You're going to sit there and tell me that Paul Pierce, a champion, one of the greatest of all time, knew better than to do that.
Yes.
I agree. So did Joakim Noah.
Yeah.
Because Noah was the one that started the whole thing.
Okay.
Bradley Beal, whom we'll talk about next, who got injured on this play and is now out for 2 months. We'll talk about that's actually the next topic on this list.
Okay.
Noah tackled him on a foul. Okay? A quote by Joakim Noah, "Oh, it was just a hard foul." That's a bunch of crap. Okay? Bradley Beal, who is 6'2", 200 pounds on a good day, drives in and you catch him in midair and throw him down, sprain his wrist.
Is that what happened? I didn't see it.
You tell me Paul Pierce knew better than that. Well, Paul Pierce was defending Bradley Beal. Sure, he should have known better than to stick his hand in his face. Joakim Noah is the defensive player of the year over my Anthony Davis.
So in other words, see, because I didn't see what happened, what you're telling me is
Beal ran
Paul Pierce was only retaliating or
You know
defending.
Paul Pierce's attitude. You know his mannerisms. Don't put your hands on my teammates.
Right.
As he should. As a leader of the Wizards.
Okay.
As he should. Joakim Noah, who should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year? Anthony Davis, correct?
Correct.
Led the league in blocks the entire season.
Right.
Who won Defensive Player of the Year? Joakim Noah.
Right.
You gonna tell me that the Defensive Player of the Year is allowed to get away with this? I don't even think so. I'm putting Noah on the blame here. 150%.
Well, if he started it, yes, but I understand why Paul Pierce did what he did, because he's always going to go to the defense of his team.
Which is why he should not have gotten fined. You are Bradley Beal sprained his wrist on that play. and is now out for 8 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Paul Pierce saw that and defended his teammate. Wouldn't you? Yet the Defensive Player of the Year, Joakim Noah. By the way, he sucks. Okay, I'm just saying. All right? Very overrated in my opinion. You gonna tell me?
I did not know. See, I didn't see it. I didn't know all the particulars
Are
about
you
it.
kidding
And
me?
I did not know that Paul Pierce was only going to the defense.
That infuriates me.
No, that's wrong. But on the other hand, they teach them, Bud, that you walk away. You may be able to. Did he actually put his hands on anybody? Paul.
On Noah? Like this. Ow! Get over it.
Now, I've seen, who was it last season? In fact, I think it was in one of the finals games or something. Somebody got between two people like this because they were about to have a fist fight.
Oh, I don't remember.
And they didn't get penalized for it.
I don't remember.
But Paul Pierce was so angry, he put his finger.
As he should have been. Yeah, as they train you to walk away, they also train you how to foul people without hurting them. Dwight Howard.
Don't even get me started.
Okay? Is that not a fair comparison?
Yeah.
Thank you. Point proven.
Okay, what did Noah do to make Beal's wrist get sprained?
Bradley Beal's going in for a layup. In order to do a layup, you gotta jump.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal's about 205 pounds if he wakes up on the right side of the sofa. Okay? Joakim Noah is 6'11", 245, 250 pounds.
Okay.
The man is a freak. Okay?
Okay.
He's up in the air. Boards right here. The layup is going in. Okay? It's the preseason. Leave it alone. No. Noah comes up in the air. Shoves it.
While he's up?
While he's in the air. Shoves it. And Beal, to break his fall, sprains his wrist. Out 2 months. But Paul Pierce, come on, Adam Silver. Paul Pierce does not have a right to go defend that. Wake up, Adam Silver. Wake up. Wake up.
No.
First bad decision he's made as commissioner.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Oh.
Wake up. Not only should Noah have gotten fined $100,000 for that, he should be suspended for a month.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Wake up, Adam Silver.
That was a belligerent attack.
That was an Orlando Magic Dwight Howard move.
Yeah.
That was a Bill Laimbeer move. That was, and you'll know this guy, a Dennis Rodman move.
Yeah.
Okay? This is not hockey.
No.
This is the NBA. Give me a break. Wake up, Adam Silver. That's terrible. That's terrible. Wow.
But baby, you gotta. I'm not defending Adam Silver. I'm really not. But when you say don't put your hands on somebody, that means don't put your hands on somebody.
$25,000 for putting a finger on his forehead? Okay, but Kevin Garnett, and he don't even get fined for the stuff he does. He don't even get talked to about the stuff he does.
I've
Give me a
never
break.
understood that.
Give me a
I've
break.
Never understood.
Give me a
that.
break. Let's move on, please. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about Bradley Beal because it hurts to talk about it. Okay? So we're going to move on. What is the next
Should hang
topic?
this or fold this?
Hang that. Phil Jackson. That's a big name.
Yeah.
He's now the Knicks president. We know that.
Yeah.
He says, quote, James Dolan, who is the owner of the Knicks, the longtime owner of the Knicks, James Dolan, won't meddle in decisions.
Excuse me?
Your thoughts?
Well, my first thought would be, who the hell do you think you are?
Really?
Isn't he the owner of the team?
James Dolan.
Then he has a right to say or express an opinion or say what he would like to see happen with his own team.
No, he doesn't.
Why? Wait a minute, why?
Go ahead, finish.
No, I'm curious. I don't understand where you're coming from.
Who runs day-to-day operations of the Knicks?
Phil Jackson,
And who gave him that honor?
the owner.
Thank you. You got nothing to do with running the day-to-day operations of this team.
Oh,
All right?
wait, I must have misunderstood what you said then.
The quote is, James Dolan won't meddle in decisions.
In decisions. Okay. If you're talking about the day-to-day operations, then, okay, I can see where you're coming from. But ultimately, if I own the team, I'm going to express my opinion and have something to say if I think you're doing something wrong.
This is the
You
one.
can't disagree with that.
Oh,
Bob.
yes, I can.
Why?
And it's because of who James Dolan is. You don't know the history behind James Dolan.
No.
1991, he takes over this team as the owner. He buys the Knicks. Okay? The Knicks are in shambles at this point in time in basketball history. Then they draft a guy by the name of, Patrick Ewing.
Oh my God.
Okay, I know you know who that is.
Yes.
All right? 1994. Tell me who the MVP was in 1994,
No idea.
the year I was born.
No.
Patrick Ewing.
Okay.
Okay? The Knicks get all the way to the NBA Finals, losing 6 games to the Houston Rockets and to a guy by the name of Hakeem Olajuwon. Okay? Hakeem the Dream. You know what James Dolan does the day after they lose Game 6? Cuts Patrick Ewing.
Why?
Because it's his fault that we lost the finals.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, look it up. Okay? This is the same guy that in 1999, Allen the Rocket Houston, led the league in three-point shooting. An NBA record, 49.3% from three-point range. I know you're not that big into stats, but you know how good that is.
Yes.
49%? Nah, let's release him. He didn't have that great of a season. Let's release him. And most recently...
Obviously, this guy's not real good at making judgment calls.
And most recently, a guy that you and I love by the name of Carmelo Anthony.
Okay.
It took Phil Jackson to bring Carmelo Anthony back to New York. James Dolan didn't want Melo back.
Okay.
Phil Jackson had to talk to Carmelo Anthony on 4 separate occasions to get him to come sign. And you know who made the offer for Carmelo Anthony to come back to New York? Who signed their name on the contract? Not James Dolan. Phil Jackson.
Okay.
Okay. So now that you know the history of James Dolan, does your opinion change at all?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I was going to say after you started your dissertation about this guy is, if Phil Jackson has done such a good job all these years, why would he just now be wanting to step up and start questioning his decisions? I mean, Phil Jackson's like an institution in basketball.
11 rings.
Yeah.
And your coach has 5. Derek Fisher.
I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, guess who hired Derek Fisher? Phil Jackson, not James Dolan.
right.
Just saying. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So why is it okay? But wait, why did this topic even come up to begin with? Because this guy's trying to interject himself into the day-to-day operations.
That's what he does.
Okay, but why?
Because he's James Dolan. He feels that he's privileged enough and he has that right.
Technically speaking, he does.
Technically speaking, no, he doesn't.
Mm.
Because the owner is supposed to run the day-to-day operations. But guess what? He doesn't. He relinquished that honor.
Has anybody else ever owned the team?
Yeah, before him.
How long's it been that he's owned the team?
Since 91.
Since 91. Wow.
He, by his own choice, relinquished that honor of running the day-to-day operations. You can't just have it back. Not if you got Phil Jackson running the day-to-day
He's
operations.
going to lose Phil.
If he keeps this up.
Yeah. He's going to lose Phil Jackson if he continues.
I love Phil Jackson for doing this. I love this. It's about time that somebody tells James Dolan to back the hell up.
Okay, but don't forget, he took his job into his own hands by making this statement.
Mhm. And you know what?
Dolan can fire him.
You're right. Guess what? He's not going to do that. You want to know why?
Well, if he's smart, he's not.
Wait. You want to know why he's not going to do that? Because the Knicks' last championship that they won, and viewers, please comment on this if I'm wrong. Their last championship win was in 1977. That's the last time they won the NBA Finals. You know who was the starting point guard on that team?
No.
Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson has more of a history with the Knicks than James Dolan even dreams about. Okay? He's not going to get rid of Phil Jackson. Someone would, and I don't say this often, someone would assassinate James Dolan if he did that. I promise.
Don't make those kind of statements.
I promise.
Yeah.
Because there are those diehard, no pun intended, those diehard fans out there. We've seen it happen. I love this. I love the fact that Phil Jackson finally came out and put a stop to this.
Nobody said that put a stop to it.
Oh, it will.
He just made a statement.
It will. It will.
Not necessarily.
I promise you it
Not
will.
if this guy's out to prove a point.
It will. I
Okay?
promise you. As soon as the Knicks start winning games, James Dolan's going to shut up. I promise.
Well, if he's smart, he will.
I promise.
But if he's out to prove a point, this may only add fuel to the fire.
Last topic of this edition of Full Court Press. Russell Westbrook, quote, on the injury to Kevin Durant. Yeah, it hurts, but my role will not change. Thoughts?
Why do these guys make statements like this to the press? Why? My thoughts are you could take that one of two ways. Okay? And I believe that he means that sincerely. His role's not going to change. He's going to keep doing exactly what he's been doing all this time. Okay? Only he may end up being much more aggressive about it, and he may think that he's just going to dominate the whole court. We won't know that till they start playing. If he means that genuinely and sincerely in a good way, then I think it's a wonderful statement. It just depends on what he meant by that.
It doesn't matter what he meant by it, because he's wrong. Okay? His role is going to change.
Oh, it has to.
Okay?
He's going to have to be more aggressive than he was before, as long as it's not to the detriment of the team.
Thank you. But your role is changing. Okay? Your role is gonna change.
It has to.
There's no doubt, unless you want to lose.
Right. It has to.
You want to ring?
If they want to win games.
Come on. Oh, wait. This isn't the last topic. I forgot. From the Pelicans blog site, Bourbon Street Shots. Remember when I showed you that? The Pelicans, Monty Williams, the head coach, has been, this is local news because we are broadcasting live from Lafayette, Louisiana. We are huge Pelicans fans. Go Pels. Monty Williams has been accustomed to making the guys train pretty hard. Not overexerting them. He gives them 2 days off a week. Okay?
Right. But consistent.
They held a scoring scrimmage the other day. Okay? They split up the teams. Not all the starters were against all the reserves. There were some starters with some reserves and all this kind of stuff. They scored. They took fouls. They did free throws. They kept stats. Everything. Okay? It was blue against gold. Okay? On the blue team, there was a man named Eric Gordon.
Yay!
Okay? In this game, this scrimmage game, Eric Gordon, 39 points.
What? That's my man.
39 points, 8 of 10 from three-point range,
What?
5 for 5 from the free throw line.
Yay!
Thoughts?
Oh, I know he can do it. I know he can do it. I don't know what was in his way last season sometimes. I don't know what was on his mind. I don't know what the problem was. But the ability is there. Okay? I don't know what was going on last season. He had some really bad games last season. And then he had some really good games. My thoughts are, if whatever it is that's bothering him, if he can get over it, he can do it. He can do it.
Yvonne Juno, my thoughts are, finally. And I'm not saying that to shoot Eric Gordon. I'm saying that for the past year and a half, we've had nothing but bad news.
Right.
Injury after injury
Oh, gosh,
after injury. And most
Time.
recently, Tyreek Evans with the strained hamstring.
Yeah.
By the way, he will be back before the season begins.
Really.
Okay.
Good. We can't
My
compare.
thoughts
We
are-
cannot compare any season to last season because when you got four starters on the bench. What the hell are you going to say?
Then this situation holds a big time quote that has been said since the dawn of time. There is light.
At the end of the tunnel.
You got it. Mm-hmm. Through all the bad news, through all the injuries and the missed opportunities, and finally some good news.
Yep.
Besides Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Okay? Finally some good news.
I can't wait.
That concludes this session, thank you, of Full Court Press. For Yvonne Juno, I'm Chris Guyette. We'll see you next time. Happy basketball.